because we have got a fast-paced session coming up. It's what they call a... I'm glad I didn't have that glass of wine earlier on, because there was a 𝗕𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃. No, it's a 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗀𝗃 session. A 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃 session, strictly speaking, is one where the presenter has got 1 minute per slide, 6 minutes and 40 seconds for the whole presentation. But we want to be lenient to the guys that are coming on stage one after the other in a minute. So we said, yes, it's 6:40, but not 1 minute per slide. We've got 4 gentlemen who are in our field, who play in our field, but in various different sections, and they will present 4 different concepts. We've got Magnus Busch, who's the MD of Gore. He talks about Bleisure and Workation. We've got Max Gross, who is the Vice President for Business Development, Radisson Hotel Group. He'll speak about lifestyle hotels. Jan Garde is the founder and chairman of the Embassies of Good Living, Senior and Assisted Living. We still need to work on that title. I mean, I read through your presentation, and it's like sort of 60 plus, and my God, I'm in your target group now. And I don't see, no, never mind. Bernhard Eggert is the head of timber construction at UBM Development, wood construction, and I tell you all this right now because they will come quick after one another. And gentlemen, you got 6 minutes and 40 seconds and not one extra. And it'll go quick. You can take your time coming onto stage, Magnus. And when I say the clock ticks now, the clock ticks now.
Cool. Then hi and good morning, not good morning anymore, good day, hello. We're going to talk about Bleisure and Workation, and I try not to speak too fast. So Bleisure and Workation, what does it actually mean? It's like all these buzzwords out there that this is, they need to be explained a bit. And for me, what does it mean? We're talking about a situation that goes beyond the typical clusters, right? It's a thing that's more a generational effect. I was born in '79, and I'm pretty much the last analog generation, right? It's moving into a different, we're moving into a different world where the digitalization just plays a major role in our lives. So people on average, I don't know how much time you spend in front of screens, but it's about like 7 hours per day. That's a lot of time, right, that we look into screens. And then there's generations that are coming up that are now coming up and reaching a certain level of spending power. There's no going back. So this is, it's something that we all need to think about, and that opens up a lot of chances and a lot of opportunities. So we need, it's already happening now, and the COVID situation was just a booster of what was going to happen anyway, right? We are talking, I put this together under the name of digital nomads, okay? Because this is, for me, the best explanation of how people live and work and play and communicate and connect already currently, and even more in the future, right? So when we have 35 million digital nomads out there right now, right? This number is going to go up to 1 billion in just like 12 years, 13 years or something, right? So it's a huge market that's just going to be there, right? And if you don't adapt to it, right, I think there's a big chance of not being relevant anymore. Because really understanding your target group is what gives you the ability to perfectly capitalize on it. So a lot of these people already now use hotels as their operational base, right? Travel is key. So the flexibility in life is something that people are willing to pay a premium for. At the same time, when we all spend so much time looking at our screens, 7 hours per day, right? It comes with the fact that people feel lonely, right? More and more people have the feeling of being lonely in life, right? So that comes with, for me, that's always, I try to explain it in a way that I say when there is, when there's places where people can meet in real life, real connections, real communication, right? These bring us they're more important. These situations might not be, might be shorter, right? But they're way more important in our lives. A fact that the global search interest for digital nomad went up crazy since 2016. Okay, and this is also not a fact that's not going to stop, right? And I'm staying at the Wombats today, and I just sit there and I just look at the people, right? And they're connecting in real life, but they're also connecting in a digital way. This is the target group that right now might spend 25 euro for a dorm room, right? But when they get out of this age, when they become when they get into other clusters and have more spending power, right? This is what we need to be aware of. Also, another fact that we see more and more people spending a weekend when they go on a business trip, right? They just stay longer, they come earlier, they stay a bit longer, right? The 2-day trip becomes a 4-day trip. The 4-day trip becomes a 9-day trip. And that's also a fact, and this is incredibly increased over the last 2 years. Right? So we could also look at our situation here, where in the old days, people stayed at a hotel for a couple of days, right? And then that's a place that we call a hotel, right? And then there was another place where we paid rent for like the whole year, and that was our home. Today, it's already something that we're willing to pay this premium for more flexibility. People are not buying cars anymore. They're not buying apartments anymore, right? They're spending for flexibility, and this is the big chance. But we need to adapt our product a little bit, right? And think about how can we best meet this demand. And I think with Limehome here, we're doing an amazing job by offering a different product that's perfectly catering this. When you stay longer, you need a little bit more of quality. You might need a slightly bigger room. You maybe want to cook something. You maybe like spend some of these days that you're traveling for business with your kids and your family. And yeah, these products perfectly cater for that. So talking about the length of stay window, right? When these two come more together, like on the one hand side, the weekend getaway, and on the other hand side, the long-term apartment rental. When these become more, when these move closer together, right? There's a huge market, and this is, I think, where hospitality is going to, and which we should all yeah, think of. As I said in the beginning, is not a matter of talking about. It's a matter of talking about age groups. It's not a matter of income, right? It's a phenomenon that happens in our society, and it's something that's a generational issue.
Thank you, Magnus.
2 seconds. You're stealing me 2 seconds. Oh no, it's over.
Thank you, Magnus.
Okay,
𝗕𝗂𝗀𝗄𝗧. And next is Max. Max Gross.
Shocking that it's that strict.
Oh, absolutely.
So I try 30 seconds per slide. So I'm supposed to talk about lifestyle hotels within this very challenging time frame of only 400 seconds. So far, I don't see my presentation though. So I get some extra time. I need to click. No, that's not right. Here we start. So I'm supposed to talk about lifestyle hotels within this challenging time frame of only 400 seconds. So I was wondering how to best approach this, and then I thought it might be a good idea to share some practical views with you from the perspective of Radisson Hotel Group. So I will talk about success factors of lifestyle hotels illustrated with our own lifestyle hotel brand, Radisson Red. Obviously, one of the most important aspects for a successful brand is that you know your target audience. From the perspective of Radisson Red, we are approaching 3 key customer groups: our guests, our owners, and our talents. Each key target group needs a purpose that clarifies why Radisson Red is the right brand and why Radisson Hotel Group is the right partner. Therefore, we established bespoke value propositions for each customer group, which we then translate into our product concept. The focus topic of this conference is placemaking. We believe that it is critical to understand that placemaking for lifestyle hotels does not only cover the physical aspects of a hotel stay, but also the intangible elements. In this context, we created our 𝗏 experience value proposition, which defines all the key touch points during the customer journey at our hotels. This is helping us to deliver a consistent service experience throughout a portfolio with many different properties. Design is another very important factor. Actually, we believe that design is the most important aspect to create an emotional connection with our guests. This is the 𝗏 in Vienna, actually, the rooftop bar, which some of you might have seen yesterday during the party over there. This was the first hotel we opened in the DACH region, actually at the beginning of this year, in cooperation with our partners from 𝗚𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, who are the investors, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, who were the architects and proved to be very good DJs as well. This is our 𝗏 hotel in Madrid, which we opened just a few weeks ago. Here we converted an old 4-star hotel and transformed it into something completely new. And this is our 𝗏 in Liverpool, which we are about to open now in December. Here we are actually converting a former hostel, which was incorporated into an old Victorian building, into a 𝗏. Another important target group are our owners. For our owners, it's obviously also very important that we are creating products that are demanded by our guests and consequently generate commercial success. But there are also other aspects that might be important. I want to share one example with you. This is our compact room concept, which we also incorporated here at our 𝗏. You might want to see it tomorrow during the hotel tours. Here we are compressing our standard room to a size of only 18 square meters, helping our owners to massively reduce the development costs per key. Another key target group are our talents. For lifestyle brands as 𝗏, it's even more challenging to find the right people to work at our hotels. Therefore, we left the conventional recruitment path and introduced something which we call open castings, as for example here at our 𝗏 hotel in Cape Town, which is helping us to find the right talents for our hotels. Another aspect which is important for actually all our key target groups is digital transformation. This is a summary of our digital strategy at Radisson Hotel Group, which has 3 key targets: boost productivity, lean operations, and boost experience. To give you some examples, we implemented an app which all of our leadership team members can access and also our owners can access, where you can basically see all the relevant commercial data of any of our hotels anywhere in the world. We introduced software solutions as HotelKit or Workday to make our hotel operation more efficient. And our digital customer journey includes self-check-in and online check-in solutions, and the automation of communication processes with the help of chatbots, helping us to release our employees from repetitive tasks and creating more time to provide guest service that really matters. Another important aspect is ESG. Radisson Hotel Group is one of the founding members of the Sustainable Hospitality Association that is lobbying for a more sustainable future in our industry. We set ourselves a target to reduce our carbon footprint by 50% within the next 10 years. And we will operate our hotels completely carbon-free or carbon neutral by 2050 latest. Then I want to show you some evidence that these success factors actually lead to strong results. This is our Radisson hotel in Glasgow, which was the first new build project which we had under the Radisson brand here in Europe. We opened this hotel in 2018, and already in the opening year we achieved an RGI. This is for the non-hoteliers here, the RevPAR performance of our hotel in relation to our competitors of 110, meaning we outperformed them by 10%. And this year, so far, we outperformed our competition by 25%. Then we are also managing to successfully grow our portfolio. We launched the Radisson brand back in 2015, and since then we grew our portfolio to, in the meanwhile, more than 60 hotels globally. We have 4 projects here in the German-speaking market, 1 other project besides Vienna in Innsbruck, here in Austria. And last but not least, we also seem to be an attractive employer. Since 2 years, we are among the top 5 hospitality and leisure players in the Forbes World's Best Employer ranking. And this was the last slide, so I saved a little bit time.
That is amazing,
so
Max.
thank you very much for your attention.
Danke. Now that was impressive. And I'm slowing it down a little bit so that we can change the slide presentations and they don't have to suffer, the other 2 that are coming after you, don't have to suffer the same fate that you did. Are we ready? That was a thumbs up from the Regie. Die Regie hat gesagt, wir können loslegen. Jan Garde, off you go. 6 minutes and 40 seconds. The clicker is there. Once you start clicking, the clock clicks. Reset the clock, please, and go.
Hello. Yeah, first of all, thank you for the invitation. I have to do a little bit of a mental shift with all of you now. We've seen beautiful images, beautiful hotels and concepts. I want to talk about the future. My future, according to the internet program I chose, looks like this when I'm 80. I'm not sure if that's true. But one thing that is true, that the the demographic, we've heard Niels talking about the boomer generation earlier, is changing, and that also 70 looks different today than it did maybe 10, 15 years ago. This is what 70 looks like today. When I think about how I want to live when I get older, I'm a bit anxious, knowing a little bit about the market and having seen out a little bit about what's out there, what's on offer. I think a few things are quite striking when I think about it that get me anxious about changing the status quo. We know that senior living is a topic as of late that a lot of real estate investment conferences are very eager to talk about. Well, there's a good reason why, because there's quite some money in it. And there's money in it because we know that the demographic shift is only going to accelerate what's already knowledgeable, what's already out there. And that's also a little bit of the reason why there's so little innovation in this space. Senior living is already a horrible word. I think it should be called living, and we just age if we're lucky, and we get a little bit older. But I think when you look at sort of the numbers behind the market, you understand why a lot of people are currently interested, especially in, let's say, maybe a little bit challenging times from a financing perspective, building cost perspective, also in the hospitality world. So after visiting more than 100 retirement communities and having quite a lot of in-depth conversation with people who were looking into where do they live when they get older and how do they live when they get older, we came back to a pretty simple formula. We wanted to do what you guys did with the hotels 10, 15 years ago, away from a product offering to a service offering. And that's basically what the Embassies is about. We didn't reinvent the wheel. We just simply sort of created this very simple formula. We took what's out there on a premium level, merged that with you guys already doing, and then sort of translated how technology can be of a superpower in that space without creating robots that take care of us, because I think that's a horrible dystopian vision for the future. So the 1 + 1 + 1 is our formula for the Embassies. What it looks like ultimately is a hybrid building on the ground floor, very publicly facing, offerings, small-scaled, trying and designed to bring people into the property. So really think about everything from a bakery store all the way to elements of food and beverage that get people into the building. Then we've got a block that's called Living as a Service. That's our service premium apartments, where we make sure that we sort of moderate the transition from our 60s into our 70s and our 80s, 90s, and ideally 100s as smoothly as possible. By that we can extend the period of time that you can live individually by offering services within the house. And then the third layer is what we call the Ambassadors Club. That's a bit like a Soho house, but then maybe a little bit more cross-generational in experience. We use technology for a lot of different reasons, but I think 2 key takeaways are: 1, we use technology to offer 5-star service at 4-star cost. And 2, we've got a very sensitive topic. People, as we get older, there are topics coming up that aren't so nice to talk about, and we want to use technology in order to bridge some of those conversations. I don't want to go down to a concierge and tell them that my men diapers are out. and I need new ones. So, or I wetted my bed, also pretty horrible experience. When we think about how can technology help, well, that's how technology can help. We're building a network of those places. That's why it's called the embassies. We're building places for ambassadors ultimately all around the world. The goal is to start in Europe probably around 2024 and then scale internationally. When we first set out and opened our waiting list icon on the website, we were quite surprised to see that there's a little bit more demand than we had experienced or expected, actually. At the moment, we've got a little over 1,400 people registered. That's even an old number, from 20 cities around the world. So you see that there's a market waiting for what we're building. I already explained that we sort of took hospitality and sort of merged it into the world of, let's say, senior living. The team that we brought together are experts from exactly that kind of field. So former colleagues of yours in various different walks of life. And last year we were lucky enough to have found a new investor and partner from Zuffenhausen, which also additionally helps us to destigmatize what senior living looks like. Because when I say senior living, we all have got those images in our head. And we use sort of obviously our partners also to get as far away as possible from that. That's a maybe a short glimpse and a sneak peek of how those locations will look like. They're actually renderings from the first project, which I'm still not allowed to talk about, but expect to hear something about that rather soonish. That's it about me. I've got roughly about a minute left, and especially I've got 2 days left, so I'd love to talk with all of you who are interested about the topic and are also a little bit maybe anxious about how we get older. That's it about me. Follow us about our journey. Thank you.
It's nothing more beautiful than disciplined presenters who stick to the time. Last but certainly not least is Bernhard Eggert, who speaks to us about, I like the thumbs up, thank you, about wood. And why would we not use more wood? You got the clicker?
I've got the
clicker.
Start
now.
I've got the clicker. Under the pressure of 𝗕𝗂𝘀𝗁𝗃, I tried to finish my presentation in 6 minutes. I thought I will have 8 minutes, so I'll have to speed up. But at first, I will give you a short overview about our development focus. We have a project pipeline at about 2.1 billion euro, 50% in residential and 50% in office buildings. And having been one of the biggest hotel developers, we changed our strategy during the Corona pandemic to our strategy Green, Smart and More. And green means for us becoming the leading timber construction developer in Europe. And we're working on it with a group of 5 experts in timber construction to bring the projects to the ground. The next slide, you see reduction of CO2 emission. That's a case for timber. The slide shows you a breakdown by sectors, and if you look at it, the global CO2 emission, it's 35 billion tons a year. And you see only the construction and real estate business causes 38% of this global emission. And if you look only on the building construction, more than 50% is caused by concrete and steel. So it's 6% of the total CO2 emission in the world. So this is a chance for timber construction, and nearly 2 billion of tons of CO2 can be substituted by timber construction. And not only the CO2 footprint, 1 cubic meter of wood can store 1 ton of CO2, and 1 cubic meter of concrete produces nearly more than a half ton of CO2. So that's the difference between concrete and wood. But not only the carbon footprint is the benefit, it's only prefabrication, it's an industrial production, so it's a high quality, it's a positive life cycle analysis. There are more wood growing in Austrian and German woods than the trees are forested at the moment, and for sure that's a high quality of living. And as you can tell, our timber construction route is on track. When we started with the timber construction business, we had the target to have 100,000 square meters built within 2025. And now we nearly doubled our goals. We have about 200,000 square meters in development. All in big cities, in Frankfurt, in Vienna, in Mainz, Frankfurt, Düsseldorf, in Prague, all over Europe. And just let me pick out two projects. Our first project is the Timber Pioneer in Frankfurt. It's just beside the 𝗕𝗏𝗃 head office. It's a timber hybrid construction. It's a high-rise building, 9 stories high. It's about 17,500 square meters. You see the wooden columns and the wooden beams, and there are concrete ceilings. And just before Christmas time, we'll finish the core and shell, and in 2023 we'll be finished. And it was only 3 months for erecting the whole concrete construction. And for another example, in Vienna, the Leopard Quarter, it's the biggest quarter development in Europe with wooden construction. It's about 75,000 square meters, so it's 5 buildings, mixed use, office, residential, commercial, and the completion will be in 2025. Yeah, some lessons learned. So we're working on it for 2 years, and yeah, it's really a challenge to change the material during the planning procedure. So the best decision is to fix the materials in the pre-design phase. And without an in-house competence center, it's quite hard to set the economic and the technical directions, because you really have to know the material. And there are not so many architects and engineers in Europe who are able to design wooden buildings, so it's a kind of a competition to find the best experts for your projects. And yeah, you also have to be in mind alternative tendering procedures, because early contracting involvement and design to build, design to budget, this will be the future of the wooden world. Yeah, and at the end, a short reality check. I think we're in a good community, in a good wooden community. There are great buildings all over Europe and all over the world, nearly 100 meters high, 24 stories like the 𝗏𝗏 in Vienna and more. And I think we're very happy with our strategy because using wood in timber constructions are our contribution to the world to save the world climate and saving the planet with a new look and feel and a new atmosphere. This is the best thing we can do, and so I think, yeah, this is our option, and many will follow. And if I think in the hotel business, there is wooden construction in hotels is not an example. It's normal. So I think in some years, also the industrial buildings and wooden buildings, it will be normal to build in wood. Thank you.
And you were worried about staying on time. You did it. You did it. Thank you so much, Magnus Busch, Max Groß, Jan Gade, and Bernhard Eggert.